Well, hello, everybody. My pickles, my snowflakes, my turtles. And if you want to know what those three things are, keep watching my station. Well, here we are. And I was laughing today because I think I was emailing a personal friend. And I said, I pay a lot more attention to what goes into my mouth than what comes out of my mouth. Yeah. Are you one of those too? Oh my, it's so true. Do you think I could cut back 50% on what I put in my mouth to balance out the what comes out of my mouth? Yeah, sometimes I don't even, sometimes I think, I know my head. If my head, let me say the things that I'm thinking, it would be, oh my, no filter on that girl. But I think I've learned how to have a filter coming out, and that always helps in social situations or in AA. It's funny what the culture is like because the culture seems to allow, I see it in AA, I see it here on other people's keto channels where, there's just this forgiving, you can get away with it, you can continue to do that um, attitude, and both in AA and both here with the keto food plan. And I suppose if you blew up your Weight Watchers program, it would be, it could be devastating, of course, if your addict is involved because it's the addict that needs the containment. But yeah, in AA, we have people that say that they're sober and they smoke pot every day. So I can understand why people that do keto, take weekends off or drink or have keto-fied items or drink diet soda. And, Google, find a keto website like Dr. Berg and look up why diet soda isn't good for you, or any of the others like Dr. Axe has a lot of things on it. Um, yeah, a lot of the doctors out there. I'm sure Dr. Westman is not a huge fan of diet soda. I know that when I've done some podcasts on crutch, or what was the other one? It was, are you drinking diet soda as a crutch to get from one stage of your keto journey to the next? Or is it part of your everyday living and you don't pay any attention to it whatsoever? To me, I look at the diet soda like people look at the vape. It's something that you do on your way to being done with the habit. And because these things are habits, even if you think oh, that's what it was. It was, is it a crutch or a habit? And a habit is something that, you're going to just continue to do. You don't even think of it as a habit. Talk to me about my gum addiction problem. And I remember about a year ago seeing that there was like 2 carbs in every piece of gum that I chewed. And I thought that was a BBC better bad choice along the way because I wasn't eating something, but I was bloated and every stick or chiclet had 2 carbs in it. And so there I was having, at least 10 pieces per day, especially on those shifts where I worked like 10 hours at the shelter. And that's the 20 carbs right there. And then you add in having a Dr. Price's every day, which I have the equivalent of half of one, but each Dr. Price packet is 2 carbs. And then all the other things that have carbs that you eat, real food. And it's like, well, this is crazy. And so I cut back on the gum. I found Velemint at Trader Joe's, and that had 1 carb per chiclet. And so that was a good transition. And then I began to bring a sparkling water to AA instead of chewing gum. And I felt that probably I wasn't chewing gum in a ladylike way. And I've told you this story before. I had this very wealthy from real estate coworker when we were both realtors together. And she said, how does a lady chew gum? And so I would begin to explain and everything. She said, a lady doesn't chew gum. And it's like, that always stuck with me. I guess I'm very old fashioned and old school. And so I was able to give up the gum. I was also able to give up the coffee made Italian sweet cream and I tried maybe one sugar-free jug of it. It was awful. I don't. My body is very, very sensitive to artificial sweeteners, and so I did that. And I never thought I would go without Italian sweet cream. I never thought I would go without gum. And I don't think you're going to hear me say I never thought I would go without coffee, though. So yeah, that's not on my short list of what I might want to do. Ever have a speck on your glasses and that's all you can see when you thought you polished them? So yeah, what comes out of my mouth is sometimes not as thought out as what goes into my mouth. And I just truly love my keto program. I have put into the day what I'm going to be eating into my chronometer, which I have both here and also online. I find this one is much user friendly because you can tap onto it and, you know, delete or add, like, you know, take away an ounce or add an ounce, things like that. And it just kind of works for me. So I'm very particular. I don't take days off from my keto plan. You know, I'm still fascinated with my daughter-in-law when she was here Christmas Eve, and she said, "Well, so do you ever cheat? You don't ever?" And then I realized how lucky I am that I have no cravings for the sugared items that I used to eat. Always special occasions, but then the special occasions were it's nighttime. That was special enough. You know, and I'd have my dish of something in bed watching TV, and that was a very bad habit because I would have it once a week, and then it became 3 times a week, and then it became every time, every night, every week, and there were 2 habits to give up with that. Well, one, my addict was addicted to the sugar of the item, and then having it in bed at the end of the day, which meant food in the bedroom, which I don't do anymore, and watching TV while I was eating it in the bedroom, which is another habit that I gave up. So when I began to work on the nighttime eating, it was a dangerous habit. My addict was addicted to the sugar in the item, and I was habituated to having a treat every single night in the bedroom, in the bed, watching TV. And so I mean, the nighttime component, if any of you are doing that sort of thing and you want to no longer do it, it's quite the process. And I had to replace what I was doing with that with other things. And so I now have a ritual that I began, it was over 12 years ago. As soon as I'm done eating, I floss, I brush, that's it. And I do have a glass of water with 3 supplements before I turn in for the night. It's lemon water, and I have 1 potassium, 1 magnesium, and 1 probiotic before I turn in with that glass of water. Then I floss, and then I brush, and that's a wrap. There is no nighttime eating. It was probably one of the most difficult habits that I gave up. But it being January, wouldn't this be an absolutely ideal time to address something that is plaguing you that you want to give up? I've always felt like mothers in the old days would say nothing good happens after 11 o'clock at night if you're out with teenagers. Yeah, right? Yeah. I was one of those. And so nothing, you don't, so my ketofied thing is you don't need anything after your last meal. And if you're doing intermittent fasting, what is intermittent fasting? Well, you can find so much information about intermittent fasting, IF. It's having this window of time where you don't have anything to eat from the night before all the way to the next day. And some people do it for 12 hours, some people do 16, some 18, some 20, and some do 1 meal a day, so it's really a 24-hour fast. I complement my fasting with water and bulletproof coffee, so I am fat fasting. I'm not, you know, it's just part of keeping it going. Why not have something if it's not going to affect the hours so much, according to Dr. Fung. So I follow him for that. Thank you, Dr. Fung. And so the nighttime eating thing, if you're eating up until 10 o'clock at night with your permission slip of nighttime eating, every time you eat, you spike insulin. And so your body's not having a chance to clean out everything in your body from your day's worth of food if you keep eating until 10 o'clock at night and then you wake up the next day and you have something to eat. You're not practicing intermittent fasting, but you're also not giving your older metabolism a chance. And most of us here have an older metabolism, and we've probably aged our metabolism. It's called metabolic damage. Deranged metabolism's one of my favorite sayings, from having the standard American diet day after day after day. And we probably are totally inflamed by the time we get to a keto food plan, where we begin to work on some of the chronic things inside of our body. And inflammation can cause cancer if you hold on to it long enough and do it, enough days in a row, enough hours in a row, enough food item in a row. And so who wants to be inflamed on the inside? It's like poison ivy on the outside of your body, except you can't see it because it's inside. But working on the inflammation is something that just doing keto will help you with. You didn't know that, did you? There's so many things that if you're just eating a ketogenic way of eating, a ketogenic food plan, you're working on a whole bunch of metabolic things inside your body without even, you don't have to work at it. It's not like you don't have to do 97 squat thrusts along with it to have it work. Your body will adapt, and as long as you're not throwing inflammatory things at it, like wheat, like sugar, like artificial sweeteners, like things with carcinogen in them, then your body has a chance to heal. And it's, that's the non-scale victory that really keeps so many of us here, regardless of the game we play with our frenemy, the scale, right? It's only our friend if it shows a loss. I don't like you today, scale. And that's why I weigh one time a week. And it's a naked Thursday morning weigh-in. And that's it. I don't play with it for the rest of the week. I add it into my daily chronometer as a reminder of what I weigh. I put it here in my little green book once a week, what I weigh. I've been doing it for about 3 or 4 years now. And yeah, and it's just a little journey. I'm not sentimental about my food plan and what I do and what I ate last week and things like that. I just move on, and I haven't had any dangerous upheavals in my food plan since I began the keto under 20, just like I told my daughter-in-law. No, I don't cheat. I do disclose that I have popcorn 3 times a year, maybe. I'm on maintenance, and it's what I do. It's our date. We go to the movie theater, and I have some popcorn, and I bring with me my melted Kerrygold or my Organic Valley pasture raised butter, and I enjoy it. It doesn't throw me off. I am back to under 20 the next day. It is just a once every 3 to 4 month treat, period. End of conversation. And it's because I'm on maintenance, and it doesn't throw off things. There's no sugar involved. And unless there's some sugar in that carbs of the popcorn, I don't know. But I mean, it's not a sugary thing, right? So here we are, and we've talked about better, bad choices. We've talked about habit versus crutch. We've talked about being able to give up some things you thought you'd never give up. We've talked about intermittent fasting. It has been a full video. And now it's time for me to go. I have to warm up the car because it is like 0 degrees out today, hence the this. And I need to warm up my car and head out to my meeting and do the rest of the things that I need to do for the day. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening, and have a wonderful day. Please subscribe if you haven't. And tune in the next time because you never know what the topic's going to be. Somebody asked for SmackDown the other day. Oh, could that be in our future? It's January. Make those wonderful changes. Give the gift of recovering from food addiction and the standard American diet a treat for you. Make it the biggest present that wasn't under the tree. I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye for now.